Okay, welcome back. In this video, we are going to look at what happens when lines are perpendicular to one another. Is there any weird trick that we can see some similarities or differences between the gradients or whatever? So I'm going to draw a perpendicular line. So that means a 90-degree line. I'm going to work with our original one we have here. And let's just draw a line right over here. That seems fine. So that looks like a 90-degree angle. And just to make it easier for myself, I'm going to do a different color. Let's do not green again. Let's do orange this time. Okay, so that line is perpendicular, so it's 90 degrees. Let me just turn everything the right way around. Can't get this off, never mind. So that's a line that's perpendicular that way. Let's just lengthen it a little bit. Oh no, that should be fine. And I don't want to necessarily find out what the equation is. I just want to look at the gradient. So I know the gradient for this line. I can write it there, the gradient. I'll write it here. M is equal to 2 over 1, or just 2. But like I said before, when we work with functions and straight lines, then fractions are very nice to work with, because this would show what's the difference in y, or the change of y over the change in x. So for this new line, I'm going to try and figure out what is the actual gradient of this line. So till now we worked with equations and getting them onto paper. In the next video, we're going to look at when we have a line, how we go to the equation. But we're going to do a little trick. We're not going to go to the equation right now. We just want to look at the gradient. So for my orange line, I want to find out what is my gradient there. And it's pretty simple. I can choose any spot on here. I'm going to choose this point over here. Let's say I start at -4. And I want to get back to my line. So just like the jumping we did here, up and forward and up and forward. Now it's a little bit different, because I'm going to go back and up. So if I want to go here, let's say the change over y over the change over x. To find the change over y, or let's do y first, I'm actually going to go up. I have to go up 1. So I'm jumping up 1. And to get back to my line, I have to jump, so we can write, just write there 1. And that 1 is positive because I'm going up. But now I'm going back, so I'm jumping 1, 2 back, and then I get to the same line. And because I went back, obviously I have to go -2. I could do the same thing again, jumping up 1. You could see the +1, and jumping 2, and I get to the same point. Or if I wanted to go, do something different, I could have actually jumped. I don't want to do too many colors here, but let's just show it for example. I could go from here to here by jumping up 1, 2 times up. So that would be, just writing it here, 2 times up and 4 times back. 1, 2, 3, 4 times back. So it doesn't really matter, because this will anyway just simplify to this anyway. Okay, so what does it mean? Obviously with the negative in front, this is the same as -1 over 2 or -1/2. All these things are the same. Just because the negative is below doesn't really matter. It could have been above or in front. But now my question is, what can I see if I look at this and I look at this? So I'm going to give you a moment, and then I'm going to give you the answer. Okay, you should pause the video if you want to figure it out. What do we see here? It's like, oh, okay, so this gradient and this gradient, they're reciprocals, which means, what's the reciprocal of 2 over 1? Well, 1 over 2. But they're not just reciprocals, they have different signs as well. So this is positive and this is negative. And I can see this here. This is a positive gradient, it's going up there. And something that's perpendicular will always be a negative. It'll obviously go down. So I'd say not all the time, but okay, let's just go into that really quickly. What we'll see is when we have gradients that are positive, anything that is perpendicular to them would be negative. Except there's one special case when we have special lines, where we have a gradient that is 0, for example, let's say the line y is equal to 2 would just be a line straight over there, and the line that's perpendicular would maybe be x over 5, would be right over there. But this is a 0 gradient, and then this would be an undefined gradient. But we can go into the details of that later. But what I want you to realize in today's video is just when we have two lines that are perpendicular or cross each other perpendicular or at a 90-degree angle, the product of their gradients, because this is the gradient for the one and this was the gradient for the other one, the product of the gradients will always be -1. Okay, except in the special case where it's a straight, like a vertical line and a horizontal line, but for all other straight lines that will be the case, because all that happening is like 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 2 is 2, and then a positive times a negative would be a negative, and that would just reduce to -1. So we can check this. We don't have to check it, but let's just check it. I'll get a different paper, and we'll just make up any gradient on this one. Let's do a different gradient. I'll just draw a line like this. So this gradient is going to be, if I have it correctly, it's going to be around, let's make it 3. So there's a line. And the gradient for this line should be, I don't really care about the equation right now, but the gradient for this line would be, if I start here, I jump 1 forward. Well, okay, sorry, I had to actually do y first. So let's just do y first. Let's just forget about that. We'll jump up first, 1, 2, 3. So the change was 3, and it's positive, so it's +3. And then in that direction running is 1. So the gradient for this would be 3, or 3 over 1. And I'm going to draw a perpendicular line here, again using my special tool. Let's do it anywhere here. I just want to make sure I catch some of the nice corners. So if I look at this line, it should be close to 90 degrees. I'll just put that there. So the gradient for this one was 3 over 1, and for this line, let's start at this point over here. And we're gonna do the y first, so it will go 1 up. So far that's 1 at the top, and then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3 to get to that place. 3, but it's not 3, we went back, so it's -3. So I see this line has a gradient of 3 over 1, and this line has a gradient of -1/3. So basically they just switched and the signs changed. So in a question, they will ask you the following. They'll say, hey, they'll give you a line. So let's just make up a question quickly. And then we can quickly do. So for example, they'll say, look, there's a line somewhere, y is equal to, let's make it 3 over 4x plus 2. That's the line that's given to you. And they say, hey, can you please give us a line or the equation of a new line? So because it's a new line, we'll just write y is mx plus c. So they're asking for a new line. I'm going to say this is my new line. This is the beginning. And this new line should be perpendicular to this line. And it should go through the point. I'm going to make something up and we might run into fractions, but that's okay. Let's say it has to go through a point or a coordinate. Let's make it 6 and 2. Okay, cool. So because I know this new line has to be perpendicular to this, I know this gradient for this line is 3 over 4. So my new line will have to have the reciprocal and the opposite sign. So this is a positive gradient, so this should be a negative gradient. And then this is 3 over 4, so this should be 4 over 3. So if I look at this, then y is equal to -4 over 3 plus c. But now, oh, sorry, I have to remember the x. Sorry about that. Okay, we're definitely going to run into fractions here, but it's okay. Now this, I know what the gradient is, and I figured out because it's perpendicular to this line, this new one has to be -3, well, -4/3. But now I have to input my new points here. So this is 6 and 2, and these are x and y coordinates. So in this case, 2 is equal to -4/3x plus c in this, oh, no, x I have to put in, sorry. To multiply by the x value is 6. I'm just gonna, let's just write 6, we'll do little tricks later, plus c. So what I did is just inputted my x and y value into my equation, and here we can do 2, and I'm gonna rewrite this just to make it look better. 6/1 plus c, not 6c. There we go. And what I have here is I can actually cancel this out. So 3 would go in itself once, and it would go into 6 twice. And then we have 2 is equal to -4 times 2 is -8 plus c. And then if I take that over, I add 8 on both sides, then I'll have 2 plus 8 is equal to c. So c would be 10. Okay, so the new equation would be y is equal to -4/3 plus 10. So this line is perpendicular to this line because we did that whole reciprocal and changed the sign. Oh, I have to keep forgetting the x. Sorry guys. X plus 10. There we go. Sorry about that. So this line would be perpendicular to that line, and this line would also go through this point. How do I know? Because I actually input I put in or substituted the x and the y values in it, and then I got my c value, like I saw in the previous video. Cool. In the next video, we're going to do a bit more, like let's say a trickier example. Yeah, see you there.